This assessment, DISC. So now under D, outward. So I want you to write dominant outside of D. I mean, the D should be between 9 and 12. Outside of that space, write dominant in capital letters. Dominant. Under dominant, write direct, decisive, and doer. Direct, decisive, and doer. Direct, decisive, and doer. Under the I, write influential in capital letter. Influential in capital letter. Influential in capital letters. And then under the influential, write impulsive, smaller letters now. Impulsive, interactive, and interesting. Impulsive, interactive, and interesting. Under the S, write steady. Steady, meaning under steady, steady should be in capital letters. Under steady, you should write stable, supportive, and sincere. Stable, supportive, and sincere. Stable, supportive, and sincere. All right. Now, yes, Hans, you have a question?
Yes, did you say sincere?
Yes, like sincerity. Sincere. Sincere. Cool. Then under C, right? Compliant. 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 Under compliant, right? Conscious, careful, and conscientious. 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 Good. At that point, is anybody having a worry before we dive into explanation? All right. So these are the four personalities or the this assessment. So dominant, these are people that are direct, decisive, and doers. They don't like complaining, they want to go do it. Influential, those are people that are impulsive, interactive, interesting. So the dominant, most of the reason why organizations thrive, succeed, is because of people like dominant. They know how to get things done. They know how to stop giving excuses and go and do things. They don't give excuses. They just act. They are very courageous. They are so focused. They are so determined, and they do amazing things. They are super active in taking action, and they have strength. They have resilience, and they have experience, and they have a huge network. Influential, they're impulsive. They take decision prompt. They are taking decision. They are very interactive and they are very interesting people to be around them. Another kind of friend that when you're bored, when you feel like you want to call him, or when you're bored, when you see him coming or her coming, you're like, oh, you got somebody who will feed your energy. Those are influentials under the disc. And then we have the steady. The steady are people who are stable, supportive, and sincere. You know, they are very good as wives. As that's what I think. Steady people, stable, supportive, and very sincere. Then we have the C, which is compliant. Compliant, they are cautious, they are careful, and they are very consensus. They consult. The compliant, before they take a decision, they want to consult their entire family. They want to consult everybody they know that matters before they act, because they're very careful. They'll ask questions like, what if I fail? What if my parents don't approve? What if? Well, it's not wrong to ask, but don't just over ask. So, if you go back to personality type, sanguine, melancholic, choleric, and phlegmatic, you notice that the influential here under personality type will fall under the sanguines, and the dominant here will fall under the cholerics. The steady will fall under the melancholic, and the compliant will fall under the phlegmatic. Right? I'm sure that everybody's understanding the language now. So, why is it important for you to know as a speaker? Great, thank you. Why is it important for you to know as a speaker where you fall? Dominant. As a speaker, if you realize that you're dominant, then the truth is that you need to have a team of people that they are more stable, like which we S and the C. Have a team of C and S and even I. Because if you notice, if you have a D, if you're a D and you are living with a D, you always be in trouble. Just like you're a choleric living a choleric, you always get into competition. But if you're a D and you're having the team members that are I and S and C, you need to know that, hey, even as you go about taking your decision, since you are so prompt to taking action, find time and always consult the I and the S and the C, which is the influential, the steady, and the compliant. Just always find time and consult them before you take the decision, because at times if you just jump into action without just informing them, they may feel left out. One person cannot just have one of this. One person can have like three of the different in proportions. Some might have dominant will be so dominating, influential might be so high, and then some people might be steady with some traces of compliant. And most of the time, steady, compliance, they have similar characteristics like influential and dominant. So if you work with somebody who is a steady type under the S, you don't put them a lot of pressure. Give them enough time to plan and execute. Don't give them prompt stuff to do, because they will be so stressed up, because they are stable, they are supportive, and they're sincere, and they are not generally too fast in doing or executing stuff. The steady people, they are not generally too fast in executing stuff. So you have to plan with them ahead of time and give them enough time to execute. Same thing with compliance. Compliance want to put everything together. They're exceptionally good when it comes to planning. They take time to plan. They plan until they plan. They want to be sure that the plan will work. If not, they will go back to plan again. Compliant, because they are cautious, they are careful, and they are conscientious. Dominant, they act. They even act before they start planning at times. They like taking action. They're like, let's go, let's do it. Then the influential, like they are like just like dominance. They are so impulsive. Boom, they do it. Interactive and very interesting and jovial to be around them. So where do you fall? Are you under the dominant, the influential, the steady, or the compliant? So, Immaculate, where do you fall? Yes, Brother Hans?
Okay, sorry, I raised my hand before you were calling Immaculate.
Yep. Yeah, sure.
I'm finding myself on the dominant and the influential. You know, when you were talking about the dominant, the attitude of doing before even planning, I was
Mhm.
laughing because that's me.
Cool.
At times, I just say let's just start. We're going to finish the plan while doing it.
Very cool. Excellent.
Yeah, so I find it very and it goes back to what I was saying. And along the way, when I started realizing that okay, it was better we plan
Mm-hmm.
before we start doing.
Mm-hmm.
I realized I've already wield a lot of influence and okay, at that moment I start having difficulties because there is a need for a plan, there is need for that stability, there is need for that support and all of that. So whoa.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. So, but the advantage, one advantage of this is that, yeah, they do a lot. They always achieve a lot in life. They always end up on the winning side in life because they get into a lot of problems and they figure out how to solve those problems, which is a good attribute at times in life. You need to, because if you stay to have everything figured out before you launch, you might stay there until the second coming of Christ. But if you launch and you try to figure out, you end up achieving more than people who try to figure it out all before the launch. So no time to complain. Cool. Immaculate, yeah, of course. I know, Immaculate, that you are on steady and compliant. Yep. And then somehow influential, impulsive. Yeah. But naturally, by genetic inclination, Immaculate should be under, it should have more of C and S. Compliant and steady. Yeah. Um, at times, from the way people communicate, you can tell if this person is a DICOS. Yeah. When I was talking to my coach one day, he told me that it's either I am a D or an I. And good to know for him, I am, I am kind of 60% D, uh, and 40% I. And some people can actually say that I am 60% I and 40% D. So at times I really just confuse people. Like at times they're confused whether I'm a dominant D or dominant I. So so that is where I am. Yeah, unlike my wife, she is down the scale. I am up the scale. She's steady. She's a she's just like Immaculate, steady and stable, like stable, supportive, sincere, and then cautious, careful, and conscious. you know. So you take an idea, you tell her, at times you're like, okay, have we prayed about it? Have we done this? I'm like, okay, why you're praying now? Go ahead and execute your execution. Like, why you're praying, we'll be executing. Anywhere we are stuck, you should pray more so that we can finish the execution. So, and most men are like that. It's nice for a man to be. What do you think? I think men should be more of dominant and influential. What do you think? So I agree. Oh, cool. Yeah. Imagine a man who keeps asking the wife, "Dear, what do you think? This is what I want to do. What do you think?" The next day, "What do you think? This is what I do. Let's pray about it. What do you think?" And he keeps on asking and seeking feedback and seeking people to validate and all of that. At the end of the day, I mean, like, The woman can even get fed up. Like, why do you always ask? Why do you always validate before you do? Most women just like when you act. Just act. And so I believe that men are supposed to at times just take action. And then the action has taken. Whatever want to happen, let it happen. So it's so important that we understand our personalities as speakers. So as a speaker, when you are negotiating with a steady person, when D is negotiating with S, you need to know. You have to don't dominate the conversation. Give S time to talk. Ask S, do you have a question? Are you comfortable? Are you okay? If we can talk now. The same thing with C. When you're talking with C, give them time. Give them room to express themselves. Because if you dominate the conversation, I bet you they will just stay like that. And at the end of the day, you're on your own. Whatever you wanted them to do, they will not. Because you just did the talking. You did not even ask them if they have something to say. So you're on your own. So you have to be careful. And the same thing with ID. Always consider your other personality. And when you come to audience, when you're talking to audience, take note. This is the most intriguing part of this conversation today. Take note that your audience, they are people with D and I and S and C. Means that if you talk fast, you're only talking to one category, which is the I, influential. Maybe to D, which is the dominant, right? And so you'll be leaving out the S and the C. And which other day you ask them, what did you pick up from that presentation? They were like, oh, that man was just shouting and talking too fast, and I did not get whatever he said. That woman was just talking and shouting, I did not get anything he said. That's the same thing that the compliant will say. Well, he was too fast, he was shouting. I didn't get him. I didn't get her. You don't want that to happen to you. And at the same time, um, if you are too slow and too consensus, D and I, they will be fed up with you. They will like, oh, your energy is too low. You're so slow. That I don't feel you. I don't feel you. And that's why S and C will always, they can really get it hard getting a job, get it hard getting opportunities, get it hard getting their better halves or wives and husbands and all of that, especially for compliance and studying. In fact, if you want them to approach you, they might never do that because they are not very comfortable talking to people, especially strangers. They don't feel comfortable doing that. So what's the point? So if you notice as an influential or dominant DOAI, if you notice that there's something you want to talk with the C or S, approach them. Just go on ahead and approach them. Because if you don't, forget about it. They might not really approach you. Because it is by their genetic inclination that they are not too outgoing. They are too reserved. And if you're looking for a good friend, kind of a best friend, uh, a friend who cannot abandon you along the way, a friend that you can trust at all time, I will advise you look for a friend who is either a C or an S. Best friends ever for me, they are S. Yeah, S. S are very good friend. Did you hear what S is? Steady. Okay, and what that means is that they are stable, they are supportive, and they are very sincere. So they don't easily give. If you break out with an S as a friend, most of the time the problem was you, not that S, not that S. Yeah. The problem was you as a D or as an I. Maybe as a D, you over influence, you over show power, you over acted, and the S was like, okay, it's over. So they need support, they need to love. And most of the time, S and C, they love when you listen to them. When you listen to them, you become their friend because they listen to you when you're talking to understand your point. Now that it is their turn, no, you have to listen to them. If not, they will not feel. Most of their love language is expressed in listening to them, getting their point. Worst of it is when you make them to feel bad, when you insult them, when you ridicule them, when you shame them. They will get back to their shelves and they might not come back again. So if they tell you something, cheer them up. If they're struggling to do something, find a way to encourage them rather than giving them negative feedbacks or kind of some kind of negative feedback that can discourage them. Yeah, for D and I, before you say one, they already saying two. They already know what the next thing you're gonna say. So pretty good. So quickly, D dominant. The dominant personality type is strong-willed, confident, and firm. D don't tell them what to do. They will tell you, I know what I'm doing, and I don't need any feedback from you. So they enjoy challenges and like to take the lead. They communicate directly and act in a consequential and goal-oriented manner. Sometimes they are perceived as aggressive and ruthless. That's how most of the time they are perceived. And some people will say that they are proud. The way they do stuff, you can only feel that they are proud. They talk with a lot of confidence. At times, you really wonder where are they taking all of the confidence. you know, influential. The influential personality type is easily endorsed by new situations and ideas. They are good communicators, open towards others, and enjoy working in team. They take a lot of they talk a lot and enjoy it. Others perceive them as open and charming. However, they are not very detailed oriented and are instead highly creative and outgoing. So take note. They are not they don't like details, but they are so exceptional when it comes to creativity, innovation. That's the I. And so most of the time, my I get too wide, create a lot of stuff. That's the I. So most of the people that work with me, they are either S or C. And those are the kind of people I want to work with. So the balance of the equation, especially in the execution part. So take note. So they do a lot of creativity and they are not too detail oriented. So someone else need to handle the details. Take note of that. So S steady the steady personality type is very helpful and likes to work on the sideline. Harmony and stability are important to them. They enjoy teamwork and are regarded as likable and patient. The steady type is more consecutive. They don't deal well with change and they appreciate a constant work process as well as loyalty and long-term relationship. Voila, you see what I say? So the steady, they are good at keeping relationships. They are good at, for instance, um, um, in 2018, probably I got married in 2018, and uh, my best guy in the wedding, I think I fired him up as a friend not long. I think maybe a couple of years after the wedding. But the best woman, my wife's best whoever, they are still best friend till today. Oh. So they're still best friend, and she's always whatever is happening, she's there with my wife, and my wife is there with her. Right. But look at me. My I don't even know where my best man is right now as I talk, and I don't want to know. Like the guy is just for me, he's just crazy, and I don't like to see him. So, and I don't have a problem. That's the I in me. So I don't have any problem. I don't know where he is. I don't want to know. I don't have a problem. But like when I fire you, we are fired. We fire friends. So we're like, okay. And the guy was actually a D. He's more of a D and I'm more of a DI. So I have a lot of signs and symptoms of D. So we can fight. Saying he's a D and I'm a D, we can fight at a certain front. At certain fronts, we can fight. Now, since I'm more influential, at times I'm just doing my things and creating my things and just going, 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 going. I don't even care what is happening behind. Anything that's happening behind is a cup of tea. Like I'm just going. So you need to understand the dynamics and the chemistry of this model. So you know how to handle people and to work with people, right? So the immaculate is good in planning and doing checking things, just like my wife is good at doing that. And those are the kind of people I like to work with. And now if I'm having a D in my team, I'm taking the D as a leader. I'm sending him in forefront in a particular battlefront to hit very hard. because I know that only D's can handle such kind of things, not the S and the C's. So if we want to go to a different country to start a movement, to start a school, maybe in Rwanda, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Kenya, we will now need the services of a D, because D will go and not give excuses. They can negotiate deals and work out stuff and do a lot of stuff. South Sudan. Yeah, even in South Iraq, Pakistan, Gaza. So we send all our Ds to go and handle the things there. They know how to fight. Not be lie. So C, complaint. The complaint personality type is fact oriented and aspire perfection. They work in a systematic way and like to plan ahead in a highly analytic way. Next to their hunger for knowledge and quality awareness, they are also defined by their diplomacy. However, they have difficulty in toning down their expectation themselves and of others. Cool. So you see, complain. They are very nice people. Whether you're a D or a C or an I, if you must succeed in any vision, mandate, project you're working on, it boy, you need the C. You need these guys. If not, you always go and fall in a hole at a particular time. These guys, they're researchers, they're analysts. They take time, they analyze the data, they tell you that hey, if you do this way, you will fail it. If you focus on this area, you succeed. If you take steps, hold on now, strategize, start next week, next month, next tomorrow, you make it. I love compliant. They take time to analyze. One thing I hate about these guys is that they think a lot. At times they can take a lot of time just thinking, thinking. And they plan for long and I get bored when the thing is taking a lot of time to plan. I'm like, let's get to work. So, is there any question before we dive into other matters? Okay, Immaculate is guilty. Okay, Hansen is laughing. Cool, cool. So Immaculate is more of C and S. Cool. So, any questions? Cool. Everything's going well. All right, let's dive in and look at the business of speaking. So, how do you make money from speaking? So, there are so many ways you can make money from speaking. And by the way, the speaking business has so much to do with influence. So, most of the people that succeed faster in the speaking business are the D's and the I. Immaculate, we are sorry for now. We are sorry. And again, people like the Immaculate, they succeed so well, but it takes time for them for obvious reason. They take time to decide, you know, they take time to plan. Reaching out to people to speak in the event is something they're not used to. So they need a marketer. So to hire a marketer who will be marketing you, advertising you, that takes a lot of time and resources, you know. So that's why at times they don't easily get engagement, like going out there and campaigning and writing emails and posts. At times is something they feel like they want to delegate it. But for the eyes, they just do it. Eyes, they're never tired of criticisms. They don't feel too much embarrassed when you humiliate them. They don't feel that. For them, it's just part of life, and they're okay with that. They don't easily get angry. They can get angry now, and the next morning moment they are smiling. But that's not the case for the S and C. If you insult an S or a C, I bet you might be enemies for the next 1 year. They don't tolerate any nonsense. Treat them poorly, and they will never forget you. So What do you do as a speaker to create streams of income for you? So let's look at it from three perspectives. Yeah, they also take time to forgive. They don't just forgive easily. They don't just love easily. They take time to get into a relationship. But when they're there, they stay. And if you hurt them, you that's when you understand the difference between a snake and a tortoise. So let's look at it from three perspectives. Number one, speakers. Let's look at active income, passive income, residual income. All right. So how to make a living, how to make money as a speaker. So we're looking at it from how to make active income as a speaker, active income. How to make passive income as a speaker. So we'll look at this and look at the different sources. How to make residual income. Cool. So active income is money they pay you for the time you spend to do the job. For instance, if I'm speaking here and you have to pay me, so as I'm speaking like this, you have to pay me before I speak. Or immediately I finish speaking, you pay me. That is active income. So how can speakers be able to make money in that way? Let's discuss now. All right. So one of the ways is to have speaking opportunities. If they invite you in a university, in high school, in a college to come and give a talk, and you give a talk, they pay you 50K, fantastic. That's great. That's active income. You just spoke and they paid you. If they invite you to speak in a youth conference somewhere and you speak and they pay you, that's active income. You just spoke and they paid you, right? So one of the ways to get paid as a speaker, to make money as a speaker under the active income route, is to do what we call conference speaking, stroke keynote speaking, keynote speaking. Cool. And then we have corporate training, training people in companies and organizations. Right. That is it for active income as a speaker. So let's look at passive income, right? Passive income now is the kind of money that you do something and it doesn't only pay you once, it pays you several times. It pays you several times. For instance, you record a course and then you are selling it, and when you buy the course, res- you listen to the videos. All right. So how can speakers do that? Okay. So you can do selling of e-courses. Right, right. Selling of e-courses. All right. How can speakers do that? Okay. So coaching programs and mentorship of speakers. Mentorship of speakers. Cool. Then the final one, residual income. Under the residual income, you will have programs like what? Writing of books. So residual income has to do with you are sleeping and money is entering your bank account. Money is falling into your account. People are buying. Bring, bring, bring. Writing of books and selling. Selling of books on Amazon. Selling of books on Amazon. Writing and selling of books on Amazon. Then, what again? Okay. Subscription program. If you have a program where people have to subscribe monthly or weekly or yearly, you know what I mean by subscription program? For instance, there are some people they use MTN and Orange in Cameroon. They subscribe for monthly data, so they pay 5,000 every month. The internet is there, so every month they cut five. They have to subscribe 5,000 francs. Every month they have to subscribe 10,000 or 15,000 francs. That is a subscription. And so if you have a program, a course that you people can subscribe, or a program people can subscribe, and they get um to pay you every month, that becomes a subscription program. So under the passive income, YouTube, don't forget, YouTube can be paying you under the passive income. So when YouTube start paying you, all you have to do is to record videos, upload on YouTube, and then every month YouTube will giving you some cash. That is still an aspect of passive income. Residual income is a little bit like residual income, and the perfect example of a residual income uh, is maybe an online coaching program that you've recorded and you're selling it, and there's a system to reach out to people and for people to buy. That is a perfect example of a residual income. And so, as a speaker, you can make money from active income through speaking, through delivering of keynotes, conference speaking, corporate training to institutions, even coaching of clients, one-on-one coaching programs. That is active. Now, active, how do you know that it's active? Ask yourself, if I fall sick today, or if anything happens to me, will I still make the money? Yeah. So if for instance, if you are a fashion designer, if you're sick and you cannot be able to go to work, boy, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Because that is active income. And active income is the most dangerous kind of income you ever make. Because the moment you are not there to do it, nobody does it for you. And even if people to do it for you, you have to pay them. So that is not a good income for you to live your life or to put your eggs on. You need to work so hard to make sure that you, from that active income, you have to transition to passive income. So passive income, how do you know that it's passive income? When you cannot go to work for 2 3 days and you are still receiving payments. And that is exactly where I want all of you to be. When you cannot go to work, but you still make money. That is how you know that is active income. That is passive income. Remember, that is how you know that is passive income. When you cannot go to work for 1 week and money is still entering your account. Now let's go to residual. Residual. Residual is when you can stay for months without going to work and you are still making a lot of money. Question for you: what can I start doing now that if I don't go to my workplace for 2 3 days, money I will still be paid? What can I create? What can I do? Second question: what can I do or start doing to the extent that even if I don't work my job for 3 months, every day I will still be receiving some money into my account. That is my money, not borrowed. That is money that I have worked, that people have paid me. What can you do? Until you get to that level, to that point where any time of the day you are being paid, then you cannot call yourself a rich person. In as much as you are still working and you are only paid for your time, you're still very broke and your life is at risk. So you have to work very hard to transition to the point that you get paid without working. So you just build a system. And that cannot happen if you don't have a system. That cannot happen if you don't have a system. You need to have a system. What am I talking about? You need to have a system that get those things done. For instance, if you're a fashion designer, you can create a system whereby you're able to get people to work on designs to the level that they know the chain, the supply chain. from materials to customers to delivery. And you have a team that does that: distribution, purchase, manufacturing, or production, to the extent that exactly everybody knows what to do at what time. And when you get the right people, when you get people who are more of the compliance and the steady, they can very they can deliver so well when it comes to that. But if you get people, you need to blend them, bring a little bit of the D and the S and the I's. When you put all of them together, and then you evenly distribute tasks to them based on their strengths, their capabilities, and their availability, you can begin now to build a passive income stream for your business. Then moving forward, you also ask yourself, what can I do that even I don't need people, physical people like to work, but it's, again, I'm still making money, right? So you can now design an online course on how to produce some particular complex dresses, record the course so well, edit the course, and then start selling the course to designers from all around the world. And that is how you can be making an income even while you are sleeping. Then when you record the course, the next thing you do, you automate. Automation means that you market it, you build a platform, an e-learning platform, get people getting into it, clicking, buying. 10 people visit, at least one person should buy. 100 people visit, at least 10 people to buy. If you're only selling that course for $10, or let's say for $25, if 10 people can buy the course in in 1 month, you made up to $2,500. You make up to uh $2,500, right? If 10 people can buy, you're taking 25 times 10, which is $250 per month. $250 is 150,000 francs, right? If you're making 150,000 francs from the sales of the course, just look at where your finances are heading to right now, because you recorded a course, and that will not cost you anything. You're not paying rent for the course. You need just a platform where you can host the course, and you have a good person who can run you the ads. Right. So that is how, as a speaker, you those are ideas on how you can build passive, residual, and active income. So most of the time, the active income part of it is always to provide you the resources to build up, to scale up to passive and residual income. Good. I hope that's a good lesson for you to go and practice. So, any question? Is there any question? Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. If there's no question, we can call it off. And that's how the business of public speaking operates. And that's basically how you can understand yourself and get those things done. So, moving forward, we're going to do more recording of videos and then submit in class, and then I will review them and send it back. Yes, Brother Hanson?
Sorry, I didn't get what you said about the videos.
Yeah, so we just have to record more videos on different topics and then submit in class, and I'll give a review. I'll give feedback.
Okay, coach. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome, bro. You're welcome. All right.